Now, Rachel Reeves, the Chancellor, facing fresh criticism for betraying Britain's farmers, all of which she, of course, denies.
Now, this follows reports that the Chancellor is considering scaling back a vital scheme which supports land management and provides farmers with one of their main forms of financial support.
It's all to do with the £5 billion that was set up after we left the European Union to support farmers, because some of the grants that we know they no longer got from the European Union, it could go. So we're asking, is this another sign that the government doesn't get farmers at all? Even the legend that is Jeremy Clarkson appears to be baffled.
It's the SFI.
Yes,
that covers the GS4.
That covers the Sustainable Farming Incentive has a code of SAM3 for the herbal ley, but Countryside Stewardship, which is another scheme, which
That's
is
CSSHT.
Yes, the higher tier, which covers this.
So, but I'm planting. It's a SAM3, but it's also a GS4,
and it's a herbal ley. But it is a herbal ley.
How many meetings have Jeffra had to come up with this?
He speaks for the country,
Absolutely.
doesn't he?
A sea of incomprehensible acronyms. Who knows what it all means?
And of course, one of them is, but one acronym they do know about is this farm scheme, which is called the, what is it called? The ELM.
Environmental Land Management.
And it's worth £2.5 billion a year to farmers. It looks like it's going to be scuppered. Let's talk to farmer Kelly Seaton and also former Labour advisor James Matheson. Morning to you both. Kelly, let's talk to you first. You're not having a good time at the hands of this government, are you?
No, absolutely not. I think on initial first glance, you think, well, actually, this is something that we wanted. We want to be more profitable and we don't want to rely on subsidies. But there does have to be a transition period. You cannot create an addiction because of the way the whole system works and then just completely remove it. You have to transition. And whilst we do want to be more profitable and less reliant on government subsidies, we are constantly looking to the government and seeing battle after battle after battle. We've had inheritance tax, we've had the stop in sustainable farming incentives, and now this. It's just unbelievable, the constant attack, and how clear it is that we feel we are not wanted by this government.
Now, James, how do you respond to that? Farmers don't want to live off subsidies, but on the other hand, many farms aren't profitable anymore to do with food prices. Labour have just done some trade deals that may make it even more difficult for farmers to compete on food prices. What is Labour's plan for farming?
Yeah, it's a very difficult situation for farmers, isn't it, right now? And I think this subsidy situation, as we've just heard, that essentially, farmers don't want to have to rely on subsidies. Of course they don't. But the situation that they're in right now is that without subsidies, as anybody who's watched Clarkson's Farmers, it's been very instructive for many people who aren't from a rural background. You see that subsidies are now the backbone of the farming community, and without them, they simply cannot survive, many farmers. So to be in this position where the government is thinking about pulling that away, and it being one of the key things, as Andrew mentioned, that post-Brexit was introduced to put on our statute books to try and make sure that the farming communities weren't devastated by Brexit. It just makes absolutely no sense, because the Labour Party was in support of this previously. But this is one of many things that, like I say, within the Labour Party, people are lobbying the leadership to change their minds about.
James, James, that's interesting. You're taking that point of view because you are a supporter of this Labour government, and presumably farmers are going to pay the price if the government is going to restore the winter fuel allowance or maybe lift the cap on two-child benefit, which I would argue is currently the cap is a very popular policy.
Well, I'm in favour of scrapping that cap, Andrew. I won't surprise you, but I think the thing for me is, you say I'm a supporter of this Labour government. I'm a supporter of the Labour movement, and the party is meant to represent the Labour movement. Right now, it doesn't. There are a multitude of things that I'm frustrated about. Me and 3 other political commentators had a call yesterday, and we are just absolutely baffled. We can't keep coming out to bat for a government that is doing things that don't make any sense based on its core values. And that's the position we're finding ourselves in, whether it be Israel's genocide, whether it be welfare benefits, whether it be the core things that the Labour Party is meant to represent. And of course, farmers are just one of the few groups that are feeling the brunt of that, unfortunately.
Kelly, you're at the Staffordshire County Show, which is why we've heard some background noise there. You're talking to other farmers. How are other farmers? Do you all feel you're in the same boat, that you're up against it now?
Yeah, absolutely. I've had a few conversations, farmers coming up to me and just saying, what is going on with this government? It's clear that we're not wanted. It's clear that they're not here to support us. And I've had a couple sort of saying, well, the only way this is going to end is by ending up with big businesses, big corporations buying up the farmland and us importing a hell of a lot of the food from other countries following these trade deals that we've seen as well.
What of do you sense that the government are listening to your union, the National Farmers Union?
No, not at all. I think they've dug their heels in the ground and they're not budging on this. And the only hope we've got is a change of government at this point.
Well, that's not going to happen, is it?
No.
Not anytime
well,
soon.
who knows? I just asked a final question to James. I appreciate you say you're a supporter of the Labour movement, but not this government. But the government is in a difficult position, isn't it? The economic position that they inherited, but also some would argue has been made worse, is a very difficult one. There is not a lot of headroom for more subsidies. And Rachel Reeves is having to look at areas where she can cut costs. Why do you think farming is a key target for Labour on this?
It's not that it's a key target. Do you know what's happening? And, you know, you can try and will me into supporting them and try to defend them as much as I can, but sometimes some things are indefensible. And right now, they're scrabbling. They're looking around. They're trying to find things to save the money because they've had to U-turn on the winter fuel allowance, right? So that means they've got to then try and find the money that was set aside from saving that money previously. It'd be in the last budget before the next budget. And there's just an absolute lack of direction coming from not only Downing Street, but also from number 11, from the Chancellor. It's perplexing the rest of us when the answer in the Labour movement is being shouted at them over and over again from the trade unions, from every other element of the Labour movement, from its membership as well, and from the backbenchers, which is, you know, wealth taxes, let people who are working for a living, farmers and the like, don't need to shoulder this burden when other people, billionaires, corporations can pay the tax. You know, things like the things that they're letting water companies and energy companies away with are absolutely unbelievable when it comes to being Labour in power. People voted for Labour for a change, and we've seen very little change from the austerity of 14 years previous.
All right. That's James Matheson, former Labour advisor, not very keen on the Labour government at the moment, and Kelly Sutton, who's one of our favourite farmers, is at the Stafford County Show. Thanks for joining both of us. Thank you both.
Of course, Labour say they are supporting farmers and that this is all part of plan to support British food.
So you're whacking them with inheritance tax and now you're nicking £2.5 billion a year lifeline, which was set up by the last government to compensate for the taxes they lost, the benefits they lost after Brexit.
It's all a bit of a mess, isn't it, really?
Shambles.